Hey viewers, welcome to game 2 of EmpireKas versus TSLSymbol, and we are going to see who is going to pull off this one. So this is a 4-player map, and that means that the Zerg player is going to scout in the wrong direction. So in this case the scouting pattern is a little bit, causes this to be a little bit more random than any of the previous match, and most of the matches were that are played in competitive play, because normally we see that they try to neutralize that randomness by forcing cross position, for example. So if one player spawns here, the other player spawns here, or if one spawns here, the other spawns here. So that way you know where your opponent is. You can scout whenever you want. And it is not a matter of luck anymore. So yeah, the units for now are pretty equal, obviously. The drones are going to pull ahead a little bit. That's going to fall back when he has to produce army, because the army units will be produced with the same larvae that normally, go into the drone production. And yeah, this drone is going to scout cross map because he wants to see where his opponent is. Obviously, he is not cross map. We know that. So he is not going to find anything there. But he is, on the other hand, going to see that his opponent is not over here and is not over there. So that means that he knows that his opponent is on the other side, or on the bottom right side. And so he did scout that there was nobody there, and is going to go and fast expand. I don't know why the reaction is to fast expand if you didn't find your opponent, but yeah, well, I won't question the pro gamers in this case, because I have no clue. So obviously, yeah, if an early push with Marines was coming, then he would be in trouble here, because with his late spawning pool and just no defense, he would lose all of his drones and probably his base to that push. Well, most of his drones at least, and probably his base before the Zerglings would be out. But yeah, nothing of the sort is coming in. They are not rushing each other, and they are just going to they're just going to continue on. So it seems that there's an overlord over here that is spotting whether or not units are getting out of here. And for the rest, it's just building up drones. So building the drones, building the SCVs. But there are more drones in production at all times, because, well, there's one more hatchery. And that hatchery is going to produce larvae. And until this command center comes up, he will be pulling ahead in drones once again. Currently 2 ahead. That's going to be a little bit more before this command center comes up. Assuming that he keeps building all of these drones, of course, because he may not want to. He may want to go for... No, he's building more and more drones. Just wants to make sure that he can actually get the economy going before having to go to war. And the income will show that. Yeah, he is ahead in income. It's not by a lot, but it is by enough to actually pull ahead. He doesn't have any gas mining yet, and that means that he is going for that pure circling strategy for now. Zerglings and queens, they don't cost any gas. The only thing they cost is larvae. And of course you have a lot of those if you have enough hatcheries going. Okay, so apparently there was a pause in this game because of some internet problems. A new overlord coming over there, and yeah, the 4 of the Hellions are going to push into this base. Does he have any defense? Well, he has a pretty nice setup here with 2 queens and a spine crawler and some buildings to defend the entrance of his base. and that is pretty nice. Yeah, the Tal'darim player going to scout whether there is any other base up, but there isn't another base up, so he will either have to choose to go for this base, so try to break this queen defense, or he can just wait around, which is fine by the Zerg player. I think both options are fine for the Zerg player, because he really doesn't want to to leave that post, and he I think he can definitely win this fight over here. So more and more drones coming in. 53 drones versus 34 SCVs. And you can see how that, well, is going to turn out in the long run. Did he scan? Oh no, he tried to expand with the... he was trying to expand the creep. So what are these? Hang on, they are Zerglings. So he's finally starting to build up an army here. And the enemy here is starting to build a little bit of an army, but I'm not really too impressed by the number of Marines yet. Depends on what... Oh, that's also Marines, so he's just building some... some upgrades. Starport coming up, or no, it is already up. It's producing a medevac. And well, the factory here is producing some tanks, and all in all, it's just a very defensive opening game or start of this game, and both of them are really not looking for the confrontation. They're both happy to just farm up. And a spine crawler coming up over here, apparently waiting for the drop to come in, and of course you can drop pretty easily with the ability, or the availability of the medevacs, because the medevacs are already here, so you might as well just drop some stuff in there. And yeah, he notices that there are quite a few Zerglings out in this base, and the spine crawl is going to come up, and is it going to be able to do enough damage? No, it is not going to be able to do enough damage. And wow. Oh, large amounts of stuff just dying here, and yeah, the medevac is going to go down to the queen because he forgot to retreat it. So he picked off a few Zerglings and such with the drop there. And of course, one of the Vespene geysers no longer has an assimilator over it, no, an extractor. Yeah, extractor. But the second drop is a little more effective. The banelings, of course, still going to prevent this. And oh, he should have kept his queens here. Oh, that is such a shame. The medevac is going to go down now, but there are still 8 Marines in this base, and the Zerglings are only coming in one by one, it seems. And the tank actually reaches that. Wow, this is not good. But the counterattack incoming, he knows that he's screwed in this base, so he's going to counterattack here. And wow, gets driven out over there as well. So yeah, picking off a few stray Marines, that is good at least. And well, the base is going to be rebuilt. But now he has the air superiority. Well, he's the only one with air, I guess, with air that can actually shoot. So the Mutalisks are going to do pretty well against the tanks, but not against the Marines, of course. The Marines are really hard to defeat. And yeah, it's just in general hard to defeat Marines, but yeah, he's going to attempt it anyway. Well, not the Marines per se, but he knows that the army mainly consists of Marines. So he's going to bounce the glaives off of the refinery. The glaives are the things that he shoots. They're going to bounce off of the refinery onto the workers, and this refinery is going to burn down. Oh no, just in time to save it. He hits the repair button and actually gets the repair off. So supply depot. Not a whole lot of other things building currently. Let's see the production tab. Now it seems there's one tank and 2 marines, and that's about it. So he's happy with the army he has, or he just doesn't have the economy to support, well, building the upgrades as well as building the army. And upgrades are normally, well, better to get than army, because upgrades, they go for every unit on your team, and army just adds like 1 unit. So 2 tanks getting taken down by these mutalisks, and that is of course a good pickup for him. But the Terran army is going to push in once again, and he is going to probably drop. Yep, he is going to try to drop onto this high ground, and there come the medevacs. The marines are going to just drop right next to the base, and the medevacs will go down eventually. Oh, these banelings cleaning up virtually everything, but is it going to be good enough? Because his base is also under attack. But yeah, the queens and the zerglings seem to be able to, well, just win this fight. And only 4 marines making it out. And the 4 marines are actually heavily damaged. So all in all, yeah, it's not yeah, it seemed that when he pushed in the first time, the Terran player, he had a very good advantage. But now the second time he pushes in, that advantage is not as big anymore. So it may have been due to the counterattack. It may have just been, well, that this attack just wasn't as useful in taking out things. And yeah, the creep spread isn't that good yet, but he's probably working on that. Yeah, these are all fresh, so he can spread them to a wider ring and make sure that he can actually get that movement speed buff for all of his units while attacking. Because you get that on creep, you get movement speed boosts, and yeah, that is of course very good to have, especially on things like zerglings and roaches. No roaches yet in this match. There is an infestation pit coming up, meaning that he will be building infestors with which are very good against the marines and the tanks. But, no, the marines and the medevacs I wanted to say, but not against the tanks. Tanks outrange them by quite a lot, and the tanks can virtually one-shot them, because they're really weak. They're really powerful in the way of their spells, but they're really weak in the way of the amount of HP they have. It seems that this big wave of zerglings is going to just scout around the map. He doesn't really see anything because there's nothing there. At least not that I know of. And can we team colors? Yeah, blue is probably easier to see. I would have preferred something like yellow, but blue is probably still better. So another drop coming in. He's going to drop on top of this ledge now, and he does get spotted right away, but that does not matter. So an overseer coming in here, and the overseer may actually get taken down. No, it doesn't get taken down. In fact, the whole army gets taken down, and wow, the Terran player losing all of his units to just, well, random units that were lying around. The main part of the army didn't even engage, because there's a big part here, there's a big part over here, and yeah, only a very small part actually engaged in this. Well, part of this engaged on that, but still, he has way more. Over here. So all in all, he has 70 Zerglings versus 35 Marines and 3 Medevacs. Medevacs could have made the difference, but the 4 tanks are now going to have to make the difference. Another attack coming in, and he's going to attempt again to drop on this ledge. Not sieging his tank yet. Yeah, there he is. And he is going to drop on this ledge now. Yeah, he loses some Marines straight away. But the tanks are going to be able to reach this. And dropping on the other ledge as well. I have to feel that this is not as effective as it could be. But, well, this command, what's it called? Fungal growth going down. Fungal growth actually taking down a whole lot of units there. And at least immobilizing them, and there are all of the Zerglings. The Zerglings are going to stream in, get these Marines and get the tanks, but the Medevacs are going to stop the devastation there a little bit. And wow, so much damage by these tanks, and the Marines, yeah, coming in to snipe off the Zerglings, making sure that the tanks survive, but yeah, the tanks won't survive the next one, and they're going to run all the way in. Wow, the Zerglings just really aggressively moving in, but there are too many Marines here, and Zerglings not very good against Marines, not very good against tanks either, but they can be good against tanks if they can actually move in closely. And their numbers is all that well, that matters, because that's the thing that allows you to do a whole lot with them. And wow, getting rid of so many creep tumors here. He has to spend some money on that. Well, scans can be well, the energy you use on scans can also be used to produce mules. And of course mules will give you money, so technically scans do cost money. Well, they do cost income, I guess, not so much actual minerals. Because you will get the minerals eventually, it's just that your income will be lower, so you will get them a little bit later. So huge army coming in here, but the Ultralist not the best choice versus the tanks. I don't know what you should choose against the tanks. I guess the Mulelists are the Ultralists, sorry, are the only option. And the Ultralist is so big. Yeah, it seems that there's one Thor still available. Yeah, I called him an Ultralist, but it's a Thor, and the Thor is going to go back to base, be repaired, and be ready to fight another day. So yeah, it's a lot of back and forth with the Terran player usually coming out ahead, but then all of a sudden the Zerg player just squashes the entire army, and we have to start all over again. Command center being lifted off immediately. And yeah, just farming on. Let's see the income. Income is about equal. The Terran usually has a lot more when he's using the mules. He may not be using mules at this moment. He needs to expand here because this is his only mining base. Everything here is mined out. Everything here is, well, no, not entirely mined out, but it seems mined out because of the minimap. But yeah, he needs to, this is basically mined out. He needs to expand over here and make that work. And he is currently morphing this, and he has to pull it up. Yep, there's no choice. The Ultralisk and everything else going to run away. Ultralisk and Zerglings with a few infestors. It's a pretty interesting combination, and it will definitely work out if he can actually get the engage correct. But that's the problem. His Ultralisk and his Zerglings get shelled by the cannons all the time, by the tanks all the time. And that of course is really hard to deal with, because there's not a whole lot you can do about that. Unless you actually drop on top of the tanks, but with the Marines nearby, there's not a whole lot you can do. Because the Marines are going to shoot down your overlords if you try to drop with them. So he will just have to brute force his way in, which means sacrificing a few units to well, to get into the fight. And wow, lots of damage going off. So 4 more barracks coming up. That means more production capabilities. And with more production capabilities, the Terran is going to be even harder to stop. And yeah, when this base falls, I have to feel that the Zerg has a very strong position. He does have more bases going, and yeah, I don't know why he didn't lift that. It was completed, right? Yeah, don't know. So the tanks are going to move in here. They had been here for a little bit, but yeah, well, we wanted to see the other fight. So it seems that the tanks are going to just hold this position. And yeah, they are very close to the Ultralisk. The Ultralisks are going to come in now. And all of the Zerglings get killed instantly. The tanks get killed though. And are they going to... Yeah, the Marines are going to hold off the rest. So it's good enough. 2 of the tanks surviving because they weren't in that initial lineup. And oh, all of the Marines getting fungal growth here. And wow, this is going to be close, to say the very least. Because all of this is going to be pretty low. And yeah, everyone in the... Well, obviously not the Marines. The Marines get healed by the medevacts. But all in all, just... well, his whole army is pretty low. And he has to watch out for the next engagement. And wow, the Thor, yeah, it got lured by the Zerglings. I don't know if it was on auto attack or something like that. And all of the units getting taken down. So yeah, not a whole lot else to do here, except well, just watch how the tanks shell everything in range, and after that, yeah, it's kind of done. I think all of the tanks will move up to this base now. Yep, there we go. Going to take out the mining bases of the Zerg player, because that's what he's trying to do. There's so much creep tumor. Well, so much creep spread, so many creep tumors. So yeah, it seems that this base has been taken out as well. And in the middle of the map, everything is just streaming into the base. There's no base over here, so it is 1 base against 2. Yep, 1 base against 2. So yeah, everything gets taken out by the army over here. And the Terran player once again in the lead here. At least I have to feel he's in the lead. And let's see the income tab, because that is going to be kind of sad for the Zerg player. It's not as low as I would have expected. The Terran player is actually dropping to 0 here. Did he mine out everything? No. I don't know why that is so low then. It's back up, but must have been a glitch of some kind. So it seems that we have this base, and that's it, I think. Yep, that's the only mining base. So 1 base versus 0 bases. Because this gets taken out as well. And oh, this base is still mining. It is long range, but it is still mining with a lot of drones. That's why he can keep up his income. The Zerg player just going, or the Terran player just going in and going to kill everything, and he does indeed win. So yeah, killing all of the mining bases apparently worked out pretty well. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. GG.